Hello guys, and welcome to another edition of Rage Against the Dice. So, today as you can see, it's more Shadespire, and we are looking at these bad boys. Some crazy undead-based action. So, I've distracted the kids, I've locked Alan back in his cage. Let's bust these open and have a look at them. So as you can see, as always with our videos, still sealed, because that's the kind of guys we are. First thing to note, it's pretty basic packaging, I quite like that. Plastic on this bit, your normal card. Let's pop these sprues to one side for now. We will most certainly be getting into them. Let's have a look at the instructions as always. The instructions for Games Workshop's new products, pretty darn cool. Shows you the blue bits as to what bits stick where, or where. Then it shows you the actual models themselves on this. So yeah. You get the cards, deck 1, deck 2, I can't wait to bust them open and have a look at them, but mainly let's have a look at the sprues. So, of all the models, these are my absolute favourite. You know, I quite like the Iron Skulls, and I like, you know, the two that come in the starter box, but these are the ones that really interest me, up until the Skaven arrive anyway, and then all bets are off. It's all very much for the Skaven. So these are really good. And obviously we are going to put them together and let you see that, because they don't look like they're in too many bits, to be honest. And again, they're very plug and play. Games Workshop's doing really well with that. It looks like the Necromunda stuff definitely aren't plug and play though. Just as a sort of moving forward on that. But yeah, Necromunda is something we're going to be doing an unboxing of very shortly. And we're also going to be doing a look at the Iron Skulls at some point. I can't open these. I'm going to come back in a second once they're opened. So here you have it. By magic, the cards are open again. Or are finally open. You do not want to know how long it took me to open them. Far too long. I could have got a knife, but I'd now got to the point that I was stubbornly going to do it without. Anybody who's stubborn will probably get what I mean. So, straight away we're going to look here. This guy's called the Champion. His attacks are 1 hex. It's 2 and does 2 damage. And it has the cleave ability. And then once this fighter is returned to the battlefield, it will flip over to reveal a shiny gold state. He can only move 2 hexes. This guy isn't going anywhere anytime soon. 3 wounds, and he's got a defensive 1. So that's the Harvester here. Again, 2, 1, 3. His weapons, 1, 2 dice and 2 damage, and he's called the Harvester. And then this fighter is returned to the battlefield. Boom. So you'll notice in a pattern, it's an undead team or an undead warband, so that kind of thing is going to be commonplace. And we've got movement of 2. So these guys aren't shifting anywhere anytime soon. Defensive 1, wounds of 2, 1 reach, 2, and only a damage of 1. And again, if he's returned to battlefield, he flips over. Boom. So you get kind of the way these cards are. We're not going to look at all of them, because as always, I want you guys to buy your own, you know, help any product going, keeps it going. You know, people buy Shadespire keeps going. People buy Necromunda and Blood Bowl keep going. There's a reason that Epic and Gothic and stuff aren't around, at least at the moment. It's because people stop buying them. So, support your hobby. Objective cards. I'm really interested to have a look through these. As I've said, you've seen, I've just unboxed these, so there's no way that you know, I could have seen these unless I'd seen another person. So I'm quite excited to have a look through these and see what kind of things they can do. But yeah, so that is them. I'm gonna get those models all put together and let you guys have a look at them. So yeah. So welcome back, guys. It's kind of been pointed out to me that I phoned in that last part of the video. And it's not that at all. It's just there's not a lot you can actually say about it without looking at each of the cards and things like that. And I don't know where I would stand from a copyright point of view. I'd probably be fine. Potentially wouldn't be. It's Games Workshop. Anyone who's like a Games Workshop hobbyist would kind of know how Games Workshop can be. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to show you how to put something together, and I'm going to kind of keep it as sort of user-friendly as possible. We did this with the previous one. And there's one thing I didn't mention previously, which is when you're building these, it's always best, unless you're doing any conversions and stuff, just to clip them off one at a time. And they are actually numbered as well. If you have a look just there, you'll see there's a 20, barely. And that's because it's white on what is my dimly lit. It's really well lit for painting and stuff. It's just I can't have a lot of those lights on because I get a lot of glare. But I'm probably babbling again. So once again, be careful not to cut these tabs off, as these tabs go into your base and give you a little extra strength. And obviously they're doubly imperative if you're not gluing them together. You're just going to plug and play with them. This is the first guy. And exactly like I showed you when we did the last one, is if there are any mold lines and things like that, make sure you clear them off. I'm using plastic glue again, and this is still Army Painter because I still haven't gone out and bought a better one. Although I'm due it because this glue is running out. It means I get to bust open something a bit better. But yeah, so give it a little shake. Bit of glue on there. Pop it together where it presses. And I think this was probably the first model I saw for Shadespire. And it was the model that made me decide I was collecting Shadespire regardless if it was good or not. Which, for the record, is very good. We've only played a couple of games so far, but it's very, very enjoyable. And then what we're doing, just drop a little bit on here. Exactly the same as we always do. Not too much. Plastic glue works quite uniquely that it melts the plastic and it forms a bond. So you find with plastic glue models, it's quite often a much stronger fit. Not always, but quite often. So that's the first of them. Have it. What I tend to do with clip fit models like this is I tend to put them together, let it dry, and then I clean mold lines and things like that off, unless there's bits that hinder it from actually clipping together. So yeah, I'm going to start on with the next one now. So like with all of them, if you just follow the numbers, they're pretty simple to put together. And I'm just going to build one more, and then I'll build the rest and show you them once they're done. It's just a very basic guide. You don't need to see how each of them are put together. If you are interested in that, like I said, I'm sure there are videos out there on YouTube that would do a far better job than I would. Which is the exact same reason that we aren't doing a how to play for Shadespire any longer. Because there's 2 or 3 videos out there that are just far better than I could do anyway, or they cover them in as much detail. In fact, one of them being Games Workshops. So all we're going to do is we're going to do some playthroughs, and while we're doing it, we're going to talk you through like what those things are. And that was me shrieking, in case you were curious. There we have it. Now, one thing I found with the undead, I don't know if it's a different plastic because of the colouring. They seem much bendier than the other models. I was just using the clipper there to make sure that I get the model off nice and evenly. And as always, people, make sure your plastic glue is adequate. I give in. I've got other glue waiting in the wings. So, rule for today would be always have a backup. In this case, Army Painter super glue. And there you have the next one. One thing I will just show you though, this is what I was talking about, very bendy. And it could just because it's thinner, but I'm not quite a fan of that. I am very much a fan of that model though. So what I'm going to do is get the rest all built, and then we'll come back and have a look at them.
Kevin?
Yes, Muto? So there's a look at the third guy. We're getting there. I mean, these fall out your hand easily. No, they just clip together really, really simply. I swear to God, that happens all the time. It's why I use paint pots or other things to grip models when I'm painting them, because my hands are useless. But anyway, we'll get another one put together and then have a look at it. Look at that guy. I actually think he's my favourite. I may have said that about a previous one, but I think that's the mark of a really good model set. Where every time you install, build one, you're like, oh no, this is my favourite. No, this is my favourite. And so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is, we've had a look at 4 of them now. There's 3 more left to build. I'm going to get those built and then show you the 7 together, because I think you kind of get the idea of what those models look like. So here we have them. The magnificent 7. See what I did there? Happens to be one of my favourite films. The original, not the new one. Although the new one was okay. I digress. So yeah, let's have a quick look. You've got this guy. This guy. And this guy. And the camera does not want to focus on that guy. Mustn't like him. This guy. Oh, he stabbed me. That guy. And then the 2 we've already seen, but we'll look at again. That bad boy. And then the Lord of Death. So yeah, I really, really love these models. Yeah, I can't wait to paint them and get them on the table. So, as always, guys, pray to the dice gods, hope they smile upon you, and thank you very much for watching today.